Am I the asshole for refusing to return my daughter's Christmas gift? My daughter, Kayla, has been asking for a laptop for a while. Money's been tight, so my wife and I saved up to get it for her for Christmas. I couldn't wait to give it to her. Edit: my wife is Kayla's biological mother, since people keep assuming she's her stepmom. The other day, I come home from work and find Kayla upset, my wife in a mood and our son, Martin, looking pleased. I asked my wife in private what was going on. She started venting to me that Kayla is an ungrateful brat, we should return her gift, etc. She then explained that she and our son decided to pull a small prank on our daughter. Martin told Kayla that my wife had told him that instead of the laptop, Kayla was getting the amount it had cost in gift cards to various stores, clothing, food, etc., not places you could buy a laptop, because she felt she wasn't ready for one. Kayla got very upset and asked my wife if this was true. My wife said yes and added maybe next year. Kayla got upset and said this wasn't fair, she had only asked for one thing. Clearly money wasn't an issue. My wife admits she started laughing, which made Kayla even more upset, and she told my wife she was a jerk. My wife feels how Kayla reacted to the prank showed her true colors and what if we couldn't afford it. I pointed out that we had told Kayla in the past that we couldn't afford it and she took it well. It seems that the issue was knowing we had the money and could have bought it, but allegedly didn't. I asked her what she expected to come from this little prank and called her childish for roping Martin into it. I said I'm not returning the laptop. My wife is mad at me and says Kayla needs to be punished. I also made my wife tell Kayla it was all a prank. Kayla apologized for calling my wife a jerk but said the prank was super hurtful. My wife refused to apologize and doubled down that she doesn't feel Kayla deserves it. Martin did apologize for his role. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, but what's wrong with your wife? She's being deliberately cruel to a teenager, and giggling about it. Is this a new development? Why does your wife dislike you for daughter so much? Not the asshole, your wife sounds like a bully. I'm sorry your family is going through this. Does Martin participate in these pranks regularly? Your wife may be creating an unintended environment that could affect the way he treats women in the future. Not the asshole, but you've got to protect your daughter from your wife. Not the asshole, return your wife, not the laptop. Wow. Not the asshole, but your wife is. Why would she even joke about something like that to your daughter? And then get annoyed when your daughter reacts like any other person would in this situation. She sounds like a bloody toxic mother and clearly favors your son. Do something about this or your daughter will resent you for not standing up for her. Also, what true colors? Pretty much everyone has a laptop, especially those who are studying. Honestly, calling your wife a jerk would have been the minimum she would have gotten from me. Not the asshole, don't usually respond to these things, but I hate bullies. And continuing to pull pranks on someone after they've asked for it to stop is bullying. The fact that it's a mother doing this to her own child is utterly abhorrent. OP, it would be worth seeking some external support for both of your children, as this kind of treatment from a parent can cause long-term psychological harm. Not the asshole, your wife is going to wonder one day why Kayla doesn't talk to her anymore. Seeing as your daughter is 17, that day isn't far off either. I'm really concerned about your wife. She gets a 15-year-old boy to be her accomplice in a really mean attack on your daughter. Is she 15 too? That wasn't a prank, it was a deliberate attempt to rile your daughter up and upset her. Your wife needs to grow up and act like an adult. Her behavior is unacceptable and your daughter deserves an apology and the gift you agreed to give her. Not the asshole. Your family sounds delightful. How wonderful it must be to have married such a mean-spirited woman and raised an equally unkind son. I am sure you beam with pride. Not the asshole, we know who your wife's favorite kid is, at least her least favorited. Imagine being your child's first bully. This is what your wife is to your daughter. Not the asshole OP, but you will be one if you don't protect your daughter from your wife. Your wife is the asshole here. She wants to punish Kayla for her shitty prank because it didn't land well. That's something. Not the asshole, your wife is a giant although she didn't pull a prank on your daughter. She decided to push her buttons for whatever reason. Basically, this was fucked with my daughter's head, and when I didn't get the perfect reaction from it, I decided I want to punish her for it. WTF did I just read? Who pranks their child like this? Your wife is a manipulative asshole. Not the asshole. ESH, accept your daughter. You said in the comments that your wife and daughter haven't been getting along because your wife keeps pulling pranks on her. Your wife is bullying your daughter. That's appalling. And you have not put a stop to it. That's also appalling. I hope you and your wife enjoy your daughter while she's too young to move out, because when she does there's a good chance she'll never come back. So per your own admission, your wife and your daughter have a rocky relationship because your wife likes to play pranks on her despite your daughter asking her to stop. And now your wife is angry because your daughter snapped back in her own defense. Your wife is a bully OP. And you're the asshole for letting it get this far without putting your foot down more firmly with your wife. You have bigger problems than who is getting what for Christmas this year. Your wife is an asshole and bullying your daughter. Shit like that isn't a joke and will have long-term impact on the relationship with family, particularly if she feels she isn't wanted, respected, or cared about. Not the asshole. Tell the missus you're going to trade her in for a new model, with less miles, and see how she handles it. It's your wife who is showing her true colors. Not the asshole. But your wife is a fucking bully. What are you doing to protect your child? This is what I would do: tell your wife she is getting a new house for Christmas and show her the door. Your daughter deserves better. Your wife needs to figure out why she feels the need to bully her teenage daughter. Not the asshole for not returning it, but please help your daughter. Not the asshole. Cruel pranks aren't funny at all. Your wife and son are. They really think that's what's funny. Something wrong there. Return your wife's presents. Not the asshole, but your wife is a straight-up bully. She treats her own kids this way. If ever a time it was for an ultimatum, now is it? She needs therapy. Not the asshole and hide the laptop. Your wife will return it. Your wife has a favorite child and it isn't your daughter. I wonder how many other times your wife and her golden child have played pranks on your daughter. Not the asshole. She wants to punish a kid because she pulled a prank on the kid and it backfired. That's messed up and mean. Your wife and son did this, yet your daughter reacts. And she's the problem. Your wife is an asshat who made drama and now complaining. Christ, hope your daughter hasn't had to deal with this her whole life. Not the asshole. You're not the asshole, but I think you'd better figure out what's actually going on here. Is your son the golden child with her? I feel for your daughter. How often is she the butt of your wife and son's pranks? Why did they both deliberately set out to ruin Christmas for her? P.S. Pranks at Christmas are usually cruel and play on Christmas emotions. Not the asshole. Your wife, the actual adult in the situation, is acting less mature than your 17-year-old daughter. Bad parents are the ones who fuck up and then don't want to apologize to their kids. Your wife is a bad parent who pulled an unfunny prank that backfired and now wants to punish your daughter because she didn't go along and laughed. Not the asshole. I'm getting boy mom vibes from the wife. She seems to hate your daughter. So let me get this straight, your wife and son made a park against Kayla, but haven't told her it was a prank until after you talked with your wife. Not the asshole, but your wife is a major AH here. She should apologize to Kayla. Not the asshole. Your wife is a jerk. Or she behaved like one. She needled your daughter into a situation that she knew would hurt her feelings and then laughed straight in her face. Now she wants to punish her for a totally predictable reaction. Your wife is a jerk and your daughter will never forget it if she doesn't get a laptop over a situation completely orchestrated by your wife. Your wife is a Disney supervillain. Not